The Bicentennial Gold Cup, the glittering prize now within the reach of Australian soccer. And the chance for the Socceroos to win this coveted trophy has brought a large and very excited crowd to the Sydney Football Stadium this afternoon, as you can no doubt hear. Hello and welcome everyone to the final of the Bicentennial Gold Cup, Australia against Brazil. And the men on whose shoulders all our hopes are resting are the Socceroos, who grabbed not only Australia's but also the world's attention on Thursday night when they thrashed reigning world champions Argentina. The question is, can they possibly hope to produce another famous victory today? Johnny Warren, can they do it?
Well, I think before the tournament, Charles, there was only about 20 guys thought that they'd be here today. That's Frank Arok, Eddie Thompson, Charlie Yankos and all the players. They've defied all logic to be here, and should they perform as they have so far in the series, we're going to have one hell of a game here this afternoon.
And the Brazilians are well aware they've got a battle on their hands.
Well, I've just been up in the dressing room. They've just had their traditional prayer before the game. The look on their faces, they're very uptight. This is a big event for them. It's going live to Brazil. They're on show. We're going to have a great game.
Okay, Johnny Warren. So the scene is set for what could be the greatest occasion in Australian soccer history, as we go up to join your commentator, Martin Tyler.
Yes, Charles. Good afternoon, everyone. The reason it's such a great occasion is because Australia continue to break new ground as far as this most international of sports is concerned. Facing Brazil remains the ultimate test, but they do have an extra ally today. They do have some fantastic support. 2,500 fans were queuing for tickets at 10:30 this morning. The word is spreading that this is a team to be proud of, and that will still be the case whatever happens over the next couple of hours. Well, it was Oscar Crino's excellence against today's opponents in Melbourne just 10 days ago which encouraged Frank Arok to break his own rule about never changing a winning team. Crino hospitalised just 2 days ago. He's been on a penicillin drip, but they've got him out there. Well, Vlado Bozinovski is the unlucky man to step down after playing an important role in Thursday's heroics against Argentina. Defender Robbie Dunn carries the scars of that battle, an angry wound in his right shin, despite the stitches inserted following an atrocious foul on him by Batista. Physically, the recovery period for this splendid team has been short. And with an extra day's rest, Brazil's resources have been revived. Muller is out there, he's fit again. And from this Brazilian side, only the suspended Adamir is missing. Andrade is a natural replacement for him. Nelsinho, he hasn't played since the first match with Australia. He's recovered from a damaged shoulder. And Giovanni, who was carried off against Saudi Arabia on Wednesday, he's fit again. On the right, at the back of the bench there, the dynamic duo. Frank Arok and Eddie Thompson, who have had to sort the team out from their celebrations on Thursday evening, which they were quite entitled to have. But we're underway. Wally Saver. Yankos and Robbie Dunn, whose father flew in yesterday from Western Australia. He was a little worried whether Robbie would be past fit with that damaged shin. But his journey already worthwhile. And there will be some very proud relatives, I'm sure, as well as thousands of proud fans to see Australia reach the final. That in itself is a great achievement. Crino. His ankle so swollen with that blood infection, but he amazed everyone in training yesterday. And they really had to consider including him after the way he played against Brazil. Here's Alan Davidson, who's had an excellent tournament. Arnold. For Farina. Wade and Oluwanshaw in the middle. Australia have made something of a habit of getting early goals. 6 minutes against Saudi Arabia. 4 minutes against Argentina. Be asking too much to make that a hat-trick. And Saver being spoken to for the foul. few specks of rain coming down. Valdo, Jorginho galloping up outside him. It's Muller at the far post. And he'll be able to return it as well. Good defending in there by Wade. Andrade. Giovanni had a mixed night on Wednesday. 2 successful penalties against Saudi Arabia. It brackets him with one of 5 players, as one of 5 players, on 2 goals in the tournament. No clear-cut leading scorer so far. But Giovanni was then carried off and looked as though he might not make the final. Wade. Well, Muller read that. It's a pass aimed for Jennings. Valdo. Giovanni. Terrific run from the back, very much in character by Nelsinho. Edmar checking out, and prepared to run at defenders himself, only for a moment though. And really Farina had to follow through once the ball had been slipped past him. It's something that players like to do to each other in training and have a joke about it, called the nutmeg, slipping it between an opponent's legs. Nelsinho, it's a wicked one. And Australia survived it, but it was mighty close. That's Nelsinho's party piece, the swerving, dipping shot when there's no sort of angle. You have to have outrageous skills to shoot from there. He's got those skills. Farina. And it's a goal kick. Well, I'm sure Frank Arok, who's trying to charge up his players a little bit, I'm sure he mentioned the shooting of Nelsinho, but who would shoot from here but a Brazilian? There's no fluke about that. Olvo was diving, but the player on the post helped him out. Wade. Davidson not given a chance this time. Nelsinho very quick in. Arnold. The way Australia play, Arnold's really on his own through the middle with Farina and Olrenshaw wide. Oh, they've left Edmar, and it was lucky for Australia that he couldn't collect it. Davidson playing it sensibly again. Here's Wade, Farina ahead of him down the touchline. Now taking over. Only Arnold really in the middle. Olrenshaw coming in at the back post. And Australia have a corner. The deep cross and the defenders backpedaling down. And this hugely enthusiastic Sydney crowd leaning forward now on the edge of their seats. There's all sorts of things going on in the middle of the ball. Wade's been involved. And then Robbie Dunn now. They use the term marking literally. And Dunn, who's quite a fiery character, must keep his composure. Davidson looking superb. Very experienced, of course. There was a blocking off the run then of Farina, which Brazil do so well. Miller and Arnold filling in midfield, giving away the free kick. He did go for the ball, but Muller was far too quick. Free kick taken quickly, and too quickly for Brazil, because Muller had straight offside. Davidson, who played First Division football in England with Nottingham Forest. And he's not frightened of performing on the big stage. It's a huge stage for the Australian game, this one. Davidson there again. Jorginho. Edmar. Giovanni from Vasco da Gama, where he's had a marvellous domestic season. Has a special link-up, club level with Romario. Wally Saber. There wasn't much on for him, so it was sensible policy, really, just to keep running, settling for the throw. Davidson. Just wonder how long Crino will be able to last. Penicillin, a wonderful curing drug, but it does leave you feeling a bit low afterwards. Valdo. Edmar. Oh, and it's broken up by Aloisio in Australian territory. But Don Campbell spotted something there that the Brazilians aren't happy with. And a wry shake of the head from their coach, Carlos Alberto Silva. Well, we've just passed the halfway mark in the first half. It's Australia 0, Brazil 0. And down on the bench, Messrs. Arok and Thompson will be pleased to have got to this stage level pegging. And with one or two moments of encouragement, the whistle had gone before Wade flew into the volley then. The players, Johnny, have been teasing Graham Arnold a bit about not scoring in this competition. When you wear the number 9 shirt, there are expectations of you, but his overall contribution has been
enormous. His nickname here on the local scene is Goal a Game Arnie. When he first came into the national team, it was almost every game he scored. He's desperately keen to score in this tournament, and more so, of course, today.
Voila. Getting the running jump at Wade. He had to jump from a static position. Poor Wade's head work has been a terrific feature of the Australian play, and how they work situations to get him in where he might strike it goal with his head. He's the type of player who uses the inside of his head as well as the outside. Davidson. Giovanni. They're reluctant to play the simple pass to get out of trouble because they back their skill all the time, the Brazilians. And other countries, you would think that would be suicidal doing that in there, but here at Brazil, from down in their own corner, well, they were pressing forward until Wade energetically was there to make the interception again. Saver. Davidson. Moving well to get free, and he's got a good little move, that turn to the right on his stronger side. He battles on. Cross had the pace taken out of it by a Brazilian deflection. Done. Arnold turning well again, and holding off Nelsinho. Graft and sweat. That's an important part of the football mix. Shaw. Oh, great play, and just went to rush the cross. Great potential here, Johnny Warren.
Yes, look, he's grown in stature in this tournament so much. Always a promising youngster with the St George club, but he's putting on the Brazilian tricks here today. Look at this dribble here. Unfortunately, just off balance a little when he hits it. But Olarin Shaw has been one of the pluses of the tournament for Australia. A big plus because he's an attacker, because he's a player who can take players on, and growing with immense maturity.
Yankos filling in behind Dunn. There's a mistake by Romario. Saver. Wade. That's another confident move. Maybe Australia have come through the worst of those early 10 minutes or so when they really didn't look at ease in this unusual position that they find themselves. Make no mistake about it, this team can play. Whatever the result here, one would hope that they would again give evidence of their growth in stature and quality during the match. And there are signs now that that's beginning to happen. Giovanni. Here's Jennings. Farina has switched to the left, ahead of Crino. Olarin Shaw on the right still. Davidson, Olarin Shaw. He made the right move again. Crino. Wade. Quite for Arnold. Farina was in there as well. There is a feeling in the Australian camp that Brazil don't defend too well in midfield. Carlos Silva concerned enough to get off his seat, try and pass a message on. This game started at 2 o'clock in the morning, Brazilian time, but they're all watching and listening back there. And wondering what's going to happen in this attack. Edmar, Jorginho, a lot of players forward from Brazil, and Davidson did use an arm intentionally, is the verdict. So those players will stay forward and be joined by the big men from the back. Was this intentional? Well, the referee thought so. Yes, Ricardo is there, the number 4, and the tall Aloisio as well. Giovanni, really a dead ball expert. Australia must be vigilant in their marking, and Yankos judged the right point. He did that many times against Argentina. Brazil trying to get another cross in. This time it's Crino in the way. Davidson rather scooped it out. Dunn. Davidson. For Olarin Shaw. Here's Romario. Saver in the way. And if Australia at times are having to play their passes a little too quickly for their own style to develop, they can draw great comfort from the fact that Brazil haven't really found that golden blend, which is the trademark of their game. Crino was fouled by Edmar. Already on his way forward is Robbie Dunn. I think the tallest man in the competition. I would say the tallest outfield player for sure. Crino trying to deliver accurately. Up goes Dunn, and in fact it's diverted away for a corner. Pause for Crino. From Dunn, and I'm sure from the supporters as well. Must have been a great boost to them when the teams were announced here. Crino virtually ruled out of the rest of the competition. He's going to take the corner. Taffarel off his line, and his handling has been first class in this competition. That's bread and butter stuff, really, for goalkeepers. There's a bit of handling there, too, from Muller. He's not allowed to do that. But Taffarel is, and he's doing it splendidly for a country with no tradition in that goalkeeping department, really, of any substance compared to what they achieve as outfield players. Muller, it's broken well for him, and this might be a problem with Romario against Saver. That should be Australia's throw, and Wally Saver came through that test very well. Davidson just in time making Crino sprint, and it's that bit of sharpness that will have gone because of the spell in hospital. You just can't expect it. What Australia have got to do is get the ball to Crino's feet and let him pass it, because he's the best that they've got in that respect. Jennings. Edmar, and Jorginho involved as well. Crino to tidy it up. So disappointed to miss out against his country of birth, Argentina. But this will make up for it to a large extent, just playing, if he can be a winner as well. Those unhappy days in hospital will be soon forgotten. Wade. Against Giovanni. Nelsinho protesting the decision, which is a throw, and Giovanni went straight across to the referee. So said something quite forcibly as well. Whether Don Campbell understood it, it's probably best from Giovanni's point of view that he didn't. We have had more yellow cards than goals in this competition. But as far as this game is concerned, it's even Steven at 0-0 in all respects. Jorginho to Romario. Edmar was well defended by Australia, but Arnold was short of help. Still worked hard to get possession back, which is lost by Crino. Davidson, the long ball is on in the direction of Frank Farina. Lovely little cameo of Brazilian football there by Andrade with a spin and then letting the ball run in the end. It's a privilege for them to be on show in Sydney, though they can shoot better than that. Very different styles, Johnny, but now the game has evened out.
Yes, Australia's best period. I think the fact that Giovanni had the shot from there indicates how well Australia's doing the dirty job, or the job when they lose the ball. They're marking well, they're closing down quickly. The only thing I'd like to see improved is when they get it, to use it up a little bit better than they are, because the Brazil can't score if we've got the ball. I feel we've probably given it away a little bit too much, too easily. And once Brazil get the ball, of course, you start chasing shadows. They're so good with it. But defensively doing very well, just a little bit more composure and creativity when we get hold of it. And to do that, of course, we need Crino back to his best form, which is asking a lot
for a guy who just spent 3 days in hospital. But his signs are there that he's coming back and getting a better touch on the ball.
He's certainly not hiding. There he is. Sabre doesn't stand on ceremony, does he, when he goes in, and he's caught out of position here by Nelsinho's clever run. And Brazil attacking in force with Romario. And Andrade set up, but again it's from distance. Of all the nations around the world who play this marvellous game, they're the ones who can hurt you most often from that distance. But a lot of times, you would say as the defending team, well, you have a shot from there, you're not going to beat us. Crino. Nelsinho, incidentally, has been touted around the English clubs. The first Brazilian ever to come to England, Mirandinha, who's not on this trip, has been playing now a season with Newcastle United, and Nelsinho was offered as part of the same sort of package, and I just can't understand why he wasn't snapped up. Done. Yankos, who gives depth to Australia's defending. Johnny, we're in the final minute of the first half. Your thoughts on it?
Yes, I think Australia can be well pleased. They've done the dirty job very, very well. I think Frank and Eddie would want to get them into half-time, sort a few things out that they're not doing correctly when they have the ball. But a splendid first half for me from them. They're up against a world-class opponent playing world-class football, and Australia can be well pleased with this first half.
Farina. Yes, I think the last thing we wanted was for the boys to freeze on their big day, having done so much on Thursday night. That can never be taken away from them. But to get through the first half here, level pegging with Brazil. You know, you just cast your mind back a few months to think of even being in this final. It's excellent, and it's an engaging contest that we're getting. Certainly not a one-sided one. If it was to stay level, after 90 minutes, we would have 15 minutes each way of extra time, and then a penalty shootout. Edmar. It was Farina who worked back, and that was the last act of the first half, which Australia can be proud of. There were certainly signs early on that Brazil were going to get a grip that they might be able to maintain. One or two flashes around Jeff Olver's goal, but Paul Wade and company have toiled, as you would expect, and occasionally too shown their own qualities. Not many scoring opportunities. A first half in which defenders like Charlie Yankos at his end and Ricardo and Aloisio at the other have held sway. The goalkeepers hardly tested, but this big Sydney crowd appreciative of the first 45 minutes. And at half-time, it's Australia 0, Brazil 0. Australia defending the goal to the right in the second half. And the word from the dressing room, no substitutions during the half-time break, just having a quick look round. Ones who might have stayed in, like Crino, if he was feeling the effects of the week that he's had of illness from an injury. But he's out there. The second half is underway. Robbie Dunn. Jennings turning into a little bit of trouble. Valdo, Muller, Edmar, and sometimes teams do get caught cold. It's very unprofessional when you come out to start the second half, but the blood isn't really tingling and the concentration isn't at its utmost. Valdo. Giovanni and Muller finding an interchange of passes there when it seemed that Australia must crowd them out. Valdo, who has got this knack of sensing where room is available. Bill Monteverde, the linesman, quite properly points for a corner. Shaw having to defend. Frank Arok, a real cosmopolitan himself, epitomising the nature of the game here. Now they curved out to play and back in again, so it's a goal kick. Davidson. He's laid off under pressure by Arnold. And you think too that Australia had 3 full days together after 3.5 months without serious preparation before this tournament began. So they've lent heavily on the club spirit engendered by Frank Arok and Eddie Thompson. It's a foul by Crino. I would be very surprised if Oscar Crino played the full 90 minutes. Robbie Dunn, with his right shin heavily protected, and he is wearing shin pads today. He wasn't on Thursday, the only time he was telling me that he hasn't in his senior career. What happened to him? There's a warning to everyone who plays the game, whatever level. Arnold on the chase. He's got a lot to do. He's taken the shot early, which wasn't a bad idea. The Brazilians were catching him quickly. And Eddie Thompson appreciated it. The down-to-earth Scot, Frank Arok, sometimes gets off the ground, so to speak, and he would have done here if Graham Arnold's shot taken on the run had been more cleanly hit. It wasn't a bad effort at all. Jorginho. Crino in the right place, back from Jennings. Finals, by their very nature, often more cautious affairs. And both teams really have been sparing in picking their moments to attack in numbers. Edmar. Swept on by Crino. Farina has forced the throw. In fact, it wasn't a foul, it was handball by Jorginho. The decision, I think, is going to be a throw, which is maybe a diplomatic decision. Farina. Here's Valdo turning straight into Crino. Vlado Bozanovski will be bursting to get on if Crino doesn't last the course. Pushed by Davidson on Valdo. Ricardo. Andrade. Will be done leading the way against Edmar. Distribution perhaps isn't his strongest suit. He more than compensates for that with his natural defensive qualities. Davids. Wade. Certainly a different pattern of play from the match in Melbourne 10 days ago, when Brazil did get a goal after half an hour, and Australia then had to come out much more than they have to do here, and they did it pretty well, although they didn't get themselves in positions very often to save that game. They might have an opportunity here to create what could be a winning goal. Ollerenshaw. Jennings. Arnold and Valdo. And it's a little moral victory for Australia, only in terms of a throw. Dunn. Trino wanted to let it run, but Jorginho was having none of that. And here's Andrade. Oh, look at the room that Edmar's got to turn. And Muller, Romario's in the middle, joined by Edmar. Here's Romario. That's magnificently taken. You just can't give him a chance like that. Brazil lead. The warning signs were there earlier in the half. Dunn had been sucked over this side. Edmar was free. Muller was involved in the move as well. And Romario's scoring touch there for all to see. With 11 minutes gone in the second half, Australia, if they're going to win the Bicentennial Gold Cup, have to come from behind. Johnny Warren, just as we saw with Romario's touch in Melbourne.
Yes, the warning signs were there, as you said, Martin. We've been caught out a couple of times. 4 players caught the wrong side. But a beautiful cross from Muller. And Romario just showing why he is the top scorer in Brazil, tucking it away. Australia would have to be considering a couple of changes to freshen the team up. As we speak, Robbie Slater. Whether that goal came or not, there are signs that they're starting to get a little bit tired.
Muller. Dunn got back this time.
I would think perhaps the Slater change. We've got Kosmina as well warming up, Bojanovski. But I'd like to see Farina operating more through the middle. I think he's been wasted a little bit today on the flanks, hasn't really got into the game. And Australia desperately need him involved in the match if they're to get back in it.
The sequence of events for Australia after the celebrations of Thursday night was a really good training session on Friday afternoon, where they sweated 1 or 2 excesses, understandable excesses, from the party the night before. Sweated that out of the system. They worked hard yesterday. Arnold guiding the header down, but not quite angling it well enough. But it was asking an awful lot to take on Brazil in any circumstances, but at a time when they've had an extra day's rest, that's another obstacle to be overcome, and they've looked much the fresher team in the second half. And here's Andrade leaving 3 Australians in his wake. Edmar, Romario, and over has kept Australia in the match. It was a brilliant move, but both sides of it seen in the reaction on the bench. Some joy too, that was there in the play, but frustration that this time Romario couldn't finish it off. And here's Wade. Faulted unfairly by Valdo. Johnny had that gone in, it would have been curtains.
That was it, wasn't it, the ball game? But what a beautiful move from Brazil. The touches, Romario makes so much space for himself, and thankfully Olver was there. But Australia really got to hold it together now. It's a dangerous period. Once the opponents scored, we're at 6s and 7s, and the danger is, of course, Brazil can start to rip them apart.
Well, Wade not dampened. Valdo caught him as well as the ball, so Taffarel all tense on his line. Is it going to be a Jankos speciality? Crino is there as well. But here goes Charlie, and it was hit cleanly too, but the goalkeeper, as he has been for most of the competition, in absolutely the right place. Taffarel is only 22, and he's given every indication that he'll be around for a long time with Brazil. Muller, of the same age group, beaten by Davidson. Arnold. Oller and Shaw is away. Now, Don Campbell's got to take severe action here. Oller and Shaw getting into trouble too. But Jorginho did what he felt he had to do. A lot of defenders around the world at this level would have done it as well, I must say. And they'll always do it as long as all they get is a yellow card. Oller and Shaw was so frustrated that he might have got himself into trouble as well. He was away. So Don Campbell knows who it is. If he has to go, plenty of people will believe it's the right thing. But the referee has a very difficult situation here. What he has to do is get away from the players and make it absolutely clear the decision that he's made. We'll show you the incident again in a moment, but the key man is Don Campbell, and Ricardo, the captain, is trying to get the message. Jorginho is still there. Go, that's it, he's off. He is off. It's a red card. Whether the second offence was the protests, for my money, referees should send the player off for pulling Oller and Shaw down in that sort of situation. And Jorginho will not go. Bill Monteverde. We have the incident standing by to show you, but I'm sure you'd rather see what's going to happen here, because this young man is going to get himself in very hot water. It's like a batsman in cricket refusing to walk when the umpire's given you out. You have to go. There's no dispute about it. The red card has been shown, but Jorginho has come back on. And he's still there. Johnny, can you believe what we're seeing?
I can't. I must say, though, that type of foul, where a lot of people here, myself included, believe that it should be a red card offence, not particularly against Brazil today, but a professional foul should have a red card. It negates the entertainment value of the game, and I just wonder it's not a second yellow for Jorginho at all.
Well, the red card was out. It was quite clear, and they think they're going to make a substitution now, the Brazilians do. Now, if Luis Carlos comes on, there's got to be another player go off as well as Jorginho. Who that is, we must wait and see. Luis Carlos is a right back and is the natural to go into that position. So he is on. Somebody else has to come off. And it's going to be Edmar, it seems. Well, maybe now we should have a look at the foul that led to the mayhem. Ollerenshaw. Dragged back by Jorginho. Ollerenshaw betrayed his youth, really, by his reaction. But the bottom line is that Australia a goal down, but Brazil a man down. And the incident being replayed on the scoreboard in the stadium. Fueling the reaction in the crowd. So, the free kick is in Jankos country. But Crino works it to Ollerenshaw. It needed something better then, in truth. Easy to say. Here's Dander still up. Scott Ollerenshaw. It's a very nicely worked free kick. Credit to the coaching staff here. .24 minutes left. And Australia, as you say in these parts, must go for it now. Luis Carlos. Jennings. Played on well by Dunn, and Ricardo went in and almost crippled Crino. And here's Muller. He and Romario, though, still capable of doing something even against the most mass defending, and Muller has done just that. That's the perfect reply to the difficulties they were facing when reduced to 10 men. And the smiles have returned down there. And two top-class players here. Too much for Australia at the back, although they were outnumbered. Mario just squeezed the pass away, and Muller flashed it home. Well, at a time, Johnny, when you thought Brazil might have lost their concentration, maybe Australia were more affected.
And how many times has that happened, Martin? 10 against 11, you expect the 11 to dominate, and it doesn't always happen. There was 4 defenders there against 2, which is brilliant play from Romario and Muller.
Here's Davidson. Farina. Australia have to hit back quickly. Arnold has to be careful. The tempers there are on a short fuse amongst those defenders. You find that forwards in Brazil don't really challenge goalkeepers. Well, Arnold really shouldn't challenge like that anyway. Jennings trying to make sure that Arnold was cutting off any back pass. That could well be a free kick against Ricardo. It is. And it's time for the substitutions. Yes. And in fact, it's Farina who's coming off. So Robbie Slater for Frank Farina. Vlado Bozanovski for Wally Savor. Crino. Here's Davidson. Australia's throw. 17 minutes left. Brazil leading by 2-0 from Romario and from Muller. Their day marred by the red card shown to Jorginho. Giovanni, and the studs were up there. They didn't look very long studs, more of the moulded variety. Not likely to cut, but likely to aggravate. The Australians have just got to push on, make Brazil play it around at the back. Back of the head of Jennings. Romario, that low centre of gravity enabling him to change direction so quickly. Stretch out to get an extra touch there, and Muller almost forced away past Bozanovski. Slater. Well, can Robbie Slater spark a recovery? It's a tall order. Very popular for his performances in the National League here this season. Yankos. One goal would rattle Brazil and maybe set up a finale. Australia's throw. Crino. Impeded, he's going to get the free kick. And even though the full sharpness hasn't been there, he's got such good ball control himself that he really induces the tackles that lead to free kicks. Bozanovski to take it. Ricardo to meet it. He's missed so little. Davidson, it's a foul by Giovanni, and that's a yellow card for him. Australia want to take the free kick quickly, but Tom Campbell hasn't completed the formalities here. More from the world of wrestling than football. Use the whole width, stretch the play. Try and make Brazil pay for having a man light. Yankos. Aloisio, well, that could have gone anywhere. And Luis Carlos eventually clearing his lines, but here comes Bozanovski. Australia won't lack spirit. Where they might find themselves lacking is if Brazil break. With Muller and Romario on song, and Valdo beaten only there by the bounce on a divot. Slater, up go the cheers again. Olarancho is ahead of him, and onside. Ricardo blocked him. Slater quick to get involved, and now Ricardo, as Don Campbell feels for the pocket, and that's another caution, and I think the captain realised that he was out of order. The damage to Slater was only temporary. It was really the speed of the incident that made it so spectacular. Good free kick. It's got Slater into a useful position, and Nelsinho was able to get his body in the way of it, and it's a corner, not the free kick that the crowd were baying for. Although it did appear to strike an arm, ruled not intentional. Sydney Football Stadium would erupt if Australia could score from this corner. Oller and Shaw. That came off Ricardo. And here comes the speedy counter-attack from Andrade out to Faldo. Brazil looking to hit on the break again. Faldo. Jennings stopping him for a moment. Now that task passes to Wade. It's devastating, and it's been deadly for Brazil with their counter-attacking style. Nelsinho. It was Valdo who dragged his shot off target. Slater. Crino. Davidson, who doesn't really deserve to be on the losing side for his efforts, although that was a weary pass then. Maybe we'll see one last thrust from Brazil. Muller, Luis Carlos has got on too. They're like scavengers, aren't they, when the chances materialise. Arnold. Slater. And Aloisio with time to have a look round to see he was safe, which he was. Andrade and Romario is away. Australia have three back. Brazil also have Muller in the middle. And he's found by Romario. And there was really hardly an attempt to stop the two then. Australia have given absolutely everything. Slater. One or two of the players in green will find it a long journey back to the dressing room here. Physically drained, emotionally drained by the challenge of taking on Brazil. There'll be no complaints from the Socceroos, I'm sure, about the defeat. They certainly have given it their best shot. Got those glowing memories of the game here against Argentina. That's it. Brazil have won the Bicentennial Gold Cup with goals in the second half. Superbly worked and marvellously finished by Romario and then Muller. The Socceroos, though, have won the admiration of Australia and taken the game forward in a country where it has immediate and immense potential. Brazil still representing the ultimate test for any nation in this truly worldwide sport. Brazil, the World Cup winners in 1958, 1962 and 1970, are Bicentennial Gold Cup winners at the 200th birthday party of Australia. It's gold again for them.